Hi, I'm Jim Mose, Executive Director of Faith and Finance Ministries at the Pension Boards. In these defining times where social injustice, economic disparities, and the effects of climate change are prevalent in our world, sustainable investing should be of special interest to us as people of faith. Why is that? Because it enables you and I to make investments based on the important values, priorities, and principles that we hold dear in the United Church of Christ. The choices we make and how we invest today affects our very lives and the condition of our planet. Consider this. What mark can you leave through your investments? How do your personal investment choices impact society, the economy, or the environment? I encourage you to consider your financial stewardship and place your money where your values live. It matters. I'm pleased to say that today with me are Pension Board's investment team members. We have Dave Clausen, Chief Investment Officer, Lon Kai, Deputy Chief Investment Officer, and Andy Russell, Director of Fixed Income. They will share about the Pension Board's new best-in-class sustainable balance fund, which invests in sustainable companies and industries that affect our world. Welcome, Dave, Lon, and Andy. Before we dive into the specifics of the Sustainable Balance Fund, can you help us to understand just what is a balanced fund and what is a sustainable balanced fund? Dave and Andy, I'll direct these questions to both of you.
Thank you so much, Jim, and it's really good to be with you all on a snowy day here in New York. A balanced fund is what it says it is, and it's one of the few times when investment terms make a lot of sense. A balanced fund invests across a number of different asset classes, and usually in a percentage among stocks, bonds, and other assets. For example, the Pension Board's balanced fund invests in somewhere between 40 and 70% of the fund's assets in global stocks, 30 to 60% in bonds, and can invest up to 10% in alternative assets.
Thanks, Jim. Sustainable funds incorporate environmental, social, and governance ESG criteria, which assess the fund's societal or environmental impact. For example, sustainable bond investments are classified in three categories: green bonds, social bonds, and sustainability bonds. Investing in green bonds addresses key areas of climate change, adaptation, and mitigation. This includes investments in renewable energy projects, sustainable water, energy efficiency, and clean transportation. Social bonds focus on clear social benefits for targeted populations, usually through the provision of basic goods and services, such as access to healthcare facilities, education, food, and clean water. Sustainable bonds span both categories of green and social bonds.
Lon, I'll direct this next question to you. How does the Pension Boards ensure that the investments we make on behalf of our members are sustainable?
All accounts specifically managed for pension boards are screened for exposure to non-sustainable companies in industries such as tobacco, coal and tar sands, and firearms. Managers we hire are also asked to become signatories to the UNPI, which stands for United Nations Principle for Responsible Investment. And in so doing, they focus on sustainability, environmental, social, such as human rights, and governance factors. What makes the relaunched and rebranded Sustainable Balance Fund different is that it will seek to not only exclude this type of non-sustainable companies and industries, but also seek to incorporate managers that positively invest in companies that are leaders in sustainability-related efforts, as we will discuss.
Thank you, Lon. We look forward to hearing more about positive investment. Dave, let's dive into this new best-in-class Sustainable Balance Fund. How will this fund approach sustainable investing?
Well, we're really excited because this fund will seek to combine the full array of ESG investing in the public markets. And the approaches are as follows. One, part of the portfolio will be in low-cost index strategies tilting toward best-in-class and high-performing companies. Secondly, we'll use active strategies, that is with stock pickers who are investing thematically in companies providing solutions to environmental and social challenges. And three, another area we're really excited about are strategies that apply active ownership and stewardship techniques to improve the ESG best practices of portfolio companies. So obviously in doing so, we are aligning investments with our values as a ministry of the United Church of Christ. But we also believe at the same time that investing sustainability may have financial benefits. Let me give you an example. Integrating environmental, social, and governance risk factors into security selection may increase risk-adjusted return potential over time. Another aspect of all of this is that investing through an ESG-aware lens may lead to capturing important economic shifts and industry trends, such as sustainability.
Thanks, Dave. Good to know that values-based investing needn't mean sacrificing any investment returns. Andy, we are committed to our members and look to achieve the best possible returns in all of our investments. Could you provide a specific example of why investing sustainability may increase the risk-adjusted return potential that Dave has mentioned?
One of the most misunderstood risks that companies face today relates to climate change. Nearly 200 countries agreed in December 2015 to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and accelerate the transition to a lower carbon economy. The reduction in greenhouse emissions implies movement away from fossil fuel energy sources. This, coupled with rapidly declining costs and increased deployment of clean and energy-efficient technologies, could have significant near-term financial implications for companies dependent on extracting, producing, and using coal, oil, and natural gas. While the transition to a lower carbon economy presents risks, significant risk, they also create significant opportunities for those focused on climate change mitigation and adaptation solutions. The expected transition to a lower carbon economy is estimated to require around $1 trillion of investments a year for the foreseeable future, generating new investment opportunities. Companies that invest in activities that may not be viable in the longer term may be less resilient to the transition to a lower carbon economy, and their investors will likely experience lower returns.
Lon, I have two questions for you. First, are sustainable investments in demand today? And then also, are sustainable balance fund being offered in the retirement market?
Yes, Jim. Demand for ESG-aware strategies has grown substantially. Total US domicile assets under management using sustainable investing strategies grew from 12 trillion at the start of 2018 to 17.1 trillion at the start of 2020, an increase of 42%. This represents $1 in every $3 of US assets under professional management. The market for sustainable balance funds is still a very small portion of the broader balance fund universe. This positions the pension board to be a leader in this investment arena on your behalf, with the fund option aligned with our shared values as Ministry of the United Church of Christ.
Thanks, Lon. Great to see that we're a leader. Dave, for those of our members who contributed to our previous balance fund, what happens to their investments?
Well, this is a really important question, Jim, because the current balance fund is our most popular offering in our accumulation phase, with some $400 million invested by participants. And it's simple. The Sustainable Balance Fund will replace the current balance fund option. Just for context, again, the Sustainable Balance Fund is one of 11 investment choices that we offer for annuity plan members with accumulation accounts. This fund, the Sustainable Balance Fund, is available beginning February 1st, 2021, to any member who wishes to invest their employer and/or personal contributions into a 100% sustainable fund. As a reminder, we also offer 6 target annuitization funds, 4 managed funds, the equity fund, the current balance fund, the bond fund, and the stable value fund, and one index fund, which is the Northern Trust Global Sustainability Index Fund.
That's an impressive lineup. What's the expectation for sustainable balance funds performance?
Right, Jim. We have a dual mandate of finance, and that is profits and faith. And so we do have a twofold objective for performance for the Sustainable Balance Fund. The first one is to deliver attractive long-term returns above a benchmark of the MSCI All Country World Index, which is a stock index designed to track broad global equity market performance, and partially the US Barclays Government Credit Index, which is a bond index designed to track US fixed income securities. And the faith part of all of this, which is so important, is to deliver a positive change by contributing toward a more sustainable and inclusive world.
Great, that's our double bottom line, doing well with our investments and doing good in the world. Andy, can you provide an example of how investing in a sustainable fund impacts our climate, advances socioeconomic equity, or increases energy efficiency?
Jim, you know the pension board's sustainable bond investments have now grown to $325 million. Proceeds of bond investments, green and social bonds, can provide socioeconomic advancement and empowerment, fund low carbon projects, including renewable energy, and provide healthcare, water and sanitation, and employment. A more specific example is one of our most notable sustainable fixed income investments. Last year, the African Development Bank issued what they officially called a Fight COVID-19 Social Bond. It was created for the specific purpose of alleviating negative health and economic impacts of the pandemic on the African people. So far, the pension board has over $50 million invested in bonds that in some way relate to fighting the effects of COVID-19.
Great to know that we're making a difference in the world through our investments. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Lon. And thank you, Andy, for sharing with our viewers the benefits and importance of investing sustainably through our new Sustainable Balance Fund. Friends, at the pension boards, we have long been committed to sustainability in all of our annuity plan investments, while at the same time achieving the best possible returns for you, our members. While the Sustainable Balance Fund is available for investment, it may not be the right choice for everyone. So we encourage you to determine the best fund allocations for your situations and your long-term financial goals. Remember, as a pension board's member, you have unlimited access to professional financial planning services at no cost to you through Ernst & Young. Ernst & Young financial planners deliver independent, objective, and confidential financial education and counseling. You can speak with an EY planner by calling EY Navigate Financial Planning Line. And for questions about the new Sustainable Balance Fund and how you can reallocate future contributions, please reach out to our member services at 1-800-642-6543. Thank you for joining us today, and God bless you.